They come off of the event team, Brittany, Hannah, Taylor, and who else? Jennifer, Jennifer. If they did a great job, the cities, the place we stayed, the hotels were unbelievable. Mingle and love each other and care about each other. I think we are poised now to absolutely blow this thing up and create another 100 multimillionaires. I say that, and I say this in a time where, like this moment right now, I can't be clearer how much people go through pain, emotional stress, things that happen in their life, and they just cannot, it's just, they can't believe it. It's not fair. It's not right. The other person doesn't realize how this hurts me. There's no doubt about it that people are hurting and they're dealing with junk. Every single person. And I think sometimes the ones that look you in the face and say everything is perfect might be the worst ones. We have a saying in the top guys and the negotiators and the compensators and the top producers. We say, methinks ye dost protest too much. And I think that's like Shakespeare or one of those brilliant people. Actually, I'm going to give Fitz credit for saying that a lot when years ago, Alex Fitzgerald. Alec Fitzgerald, but because and even the story behind those names, he just cracks me up. Jane, did you hear that story? Oh God. So with the people that tell you it's going perfect the most, I would probably worry about the most. Does that make sense? And the one that said it's God awful, unbelievable, I'll be like, because Fitz told me what that word Fitz meant. And I said, I will never be able to call you that again. And you have to ask him, so what does it mean? Because I said, I'm going to call you Alec from now on. I can't do it because I wouldn't want to put up with that. What he told me, I was like, So people have so many things that you don't know about going on. And so yesterday, I think it was, what's today, Friday? It was Wednesday. It might have been Wednesday. I just texted out to some people that I'm really, really close to a note. And I got great feedback from it. And I said, this is what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about this on our activity call. It goes like this. It said, I'm going to focus and I'm going to do better. So my question to you would be, of this audience setting here is, listen to the statement. I'm going to focus and I'm going to do better. How many of y'all either telling yourself that or you need to tell yourself that? Yep. Can I get a show of hands? Yep. This is not a rhetorical question. So I told these close people to me, I said, I'm going to focus and I'm going to do better. Do you ever do this? Do you ever think to yourself, I got to do better? And I have a hard time a lot of times remembering the victories. I have to really focus. I got a lot of Me Too text. And one said, the number one producer in the country is my guy. So if your guy was the number one producer in the country, you might be thinking about that as opposed to the bad stuff. So there's this constant battle going in people's head is, what am I thinking about? And then what do I do about it? And a lot of times, what you're thinking about, there's nothing to do about it. What you should be thinking about, there is a boat, I want to say dookie load. There is a big bunch of dookie that needs to be on what you need to be thinking about. But what you're thinking about, and because there's nothing you can do about it. I was thinking about this, Jane, is I could be talking to my wife, Jane. I could be talking to that Jane right there. I could be talking to Robbie. But it goes like this. People ask questions, and they're magicians. They rattle this right here, and because that's what's hurting them, or that's what they can explain. But what they can't explain over here, they don't want to talk about. And I'm real clear on what's over here, what they need to do. So here's the answer a lot of times you need to say to people is, I don't know about that. That sounds interesting. I can't verify that, but this I do know. This is what I need to do. I got bills. I got kids. I got a spouse. I got a wife. I got kids. I got a daughter getting married next month. I got a son in Argentina. I got Robbie Kraft wants a promotion, and a big one. He wants a big promotion. I got D-Rock wants to be a video star back here. What's up, D? I have found this. The people that more people know them, or they know more people, they got bigger problems, and they got bigger opportunities. It goes hand in hand. You can't meet a person who's doing crazy good that don't have crazy bad. People that are medium are medium. Medium problems, medium results, medium cars, medium future, got medium problems. Does that make sense? So some people say, well, if given a choice, would you like big opportunity and then bigger problems? Or would you like little bitty tiny opportunities and little tiny problems? I go, well, I guess I'm going to have to deal with big problems. So I'm going to have to learn to deal with big problems and not be offended by little things. I got to wait until something big happens, because if you can't battle so many fronts, you can't fight too many wars. If you fight every little pea-sized problem, your mind won't be set to handle the big problem. That makes sense? So here we go. I want a redo. I want a do-over. If I can't get a redo, is there any way I could just get back in the saddle and do better? And the crazy thing is, you think about it, or I think about, well, I'm looking around at the 20-some-year-olds in here and thinking, there's no way you have as many problems as somebody 50-year-old has. There's no way. But when they're 25, the pea-sized problem oftentimes seems like a freight train or a bulldozer coming at them, because this is the biggest dadgum problem they've seen in their life. So it seems so much bigger. And that's why, apparently, why we have, one of the reasons we have a suicide rate that's pretty high in this country is people thinking there's no hope, there's no solution. And what I found is there's no perfect answer and there's no perfect fairy tale ending. But there will be good times. There will be exciting times. There will be fun times. We will laugh so hard we will cry. And the way we do that is we get through the river, we get through the mud, we get through the muck, we get through the junk. And the number one thing that I think has helped me, and the people that I see successful, like Chris Long, who has been through some dark stuff, and Andy Riddle, who has been through some dark stuff, And Diane Lampy, who has been through some stuff that some people would say is unbearable. And then Paul Roberts and Tamara Roberts. They've been through stuff that just, it would crush a smaller man. It would crush a smaller woman. But people that stand up and do what they're supposed to do at 8 o'clock in the morning or at 10 o'clock at night, or if they do it, if they redo or get back on a horse, they're the ones that do good. It's not the ones that are perfect. I've not experienced, maybe we're recruiting the wrong people, Robbie, but the perfect people we've not recruited. You with me? They're not the ones that have done good. So I hold on to that thought so much. I said, don't raise your hand on this one, but how many need a better diet after Switzerland and France? Them boys will put some bread and butter on your plate before you can get turned around good. That'll be messed up because it will be next Friday. So we will get that done on Monday. So public service announcement done. Might need to repeat that for people. Okay. So, my goal is to do this. And say, well, here's what happened. He come home, and you're sitting there going, I hear some conversation, I'm going like, what? Like, I got 50 million things to do, and they don't talk about Margaret and Tommy? And I don't even want to start cutting down Margaret and Tommy, but I'm just like, are you kidding me? If these people got along with each other, they wouldn't have the talent to peel a banana. You remember that artist we had? He used to walk around and talk to people. I don't know what he's doing. He just walk around talking to people. So same thing with social media. That's sitting there for you. You go on there and you get sucked into something like that. And I told my buddy, I said, there's nobody love television like Albright. I just loved it. I love just sit there. I need to get a notepad and just take notes or something. I don't know, make myself feel productive. I think that's what people do with this social media stuff. They feel productive, or I don't know. Well, what Tim Goad told me is it numbs them. It numbs them to what's going on in their life and their problems, so they prefer numbness, kind of like being high, like drunk or something like that. You're numb to it. And I was like, oh, I almost said, will that work? It's going to make me numb to my problems. I'm just going to sit there too. And I noticed that is what happens. But if you want to know, I get a numbing too when I just go to work. I forget about so many problems when I go to work. And also, I like driving the Maybach, and I like staying in Paris more than I like staying at home. So I'm a little bit numb when I win the trips, or even when I'm trying to win the trip. Like, work works the. Mark Hutchinson was issue paying 6. Now he's issue paying 9 a week on average. Andrew Schock went from 5 to 6. Marcus Richardson went from almost 5 to 6. So almost, they say $1,300 a week issue paid more. Some people don't issue pay $1,300 a week, and he's increased by $1,300 a week. So if I'm the person, if I'm the guy that's like, man, I'm only issuing $300 a week, or I'm issuing $500 a week, and this guy's over here doing 6 a week or 9 a week, what am I doing differently? And I'll tell you, you got to start somehow, somebody to help you evaluate what you do with your time. So I'm working with some people. Well, I've got this inner circle of people that I'm really screaming at. I'm trying to talk to them about what I'm telling you about. But I'm working with this guy, Henry Borland. Seems like a super nice guy. I know he's talented. He's put some numbers up. Anthony Diaz. These were people that I hung out with. I mean, there's 260 people in Paris, but it's a couple couples. Henry and Jasmine, then Anthony and Leah, and then Peter and Victoria Orozco. And I was talking to them, and I was saying, look, here's what we got to do. I'm going to help remind you that you only have 24 hours in a day. You think that everybody knows that, but they don't. There's no way, because they cry like, I want it so bad. And then I'll see them totally throwing time out the window. It would be like if you're on a desert island or you're crossing the desert and you're running out of money and you see somebody or running out of water and you see somebody just pouring water on a desert floor and like, whoa, we're going to need that water, bro. And they're like, no, I'm doing good now. I'm full up now. I'm like, no, we're going to need that. I think there's a little nursery rhyme or a thing like that with little animals where the winter times comes and one of them's saving up food and the other one's like, why are you wasting time saving up? We got plenty. Have fun, eat, be merry. I'm like, bro, you know that one knows there's winter time coming and you're going to be knocking on his door. So that's what happens is people don't realize that time is so limited just like water. So I want to get in Henry's head and get in his heart and say, hey, bro, those little minutes that you're pouring water out, those little minutes that you're wasting time in your life, that's what we want to grab back. So then the question becomes, what's the strategy to fix it back? So here's what we do is we take out all the options, television, Facebook, boyfriend, girlfriend, mama, those games, Crazy Bird, Wild Bird. What's some of the other games we do? Jane, what's some games your husband likes? Wartime? Who knows? Fortnite? What else, Chelsea? Clay? Y'all don't know these games? Ain't Angry Bird is a thing, right? Huh?
Warframe.
What's that?
Warframe.
Warframe? WARFRAME? Warframe. That's a thing. You got it. And if you like Warframe or you like television, I get it. The question is, what do you WANT? What do you want? Because if you're getting what you want, life is good. Now, the other question is that what you're going to want a year from now? Is that what you're going to want 5 years from now? Is that what you're going to want 20 years from now? What are you going to, like, you got to have some kind of anticipatory thought come into your head and say, what do I want in 5 years? What do I want in 2 years? What do I want it to be like? How do I want to sit? Where do I want to stand? Who am I going to be talking to? Who's going to be around me 5 years from now? So you start thinking about that, and then what you do is you look back to this person, which is you, and you give instructions to that person. Because this is who you want to be, you said. So you get this person to talk back to this person. And it's the weirdest thing what this person will say to himself, this person says to himself, versus what this person, you sent me a text about that. What does this person say to you? Try it. Just later tonight say, be like, I just had a thought that somebody said, I'm going to take me some mushrooms tonight. They call them shrooms. And I'm going to do what he said. And I'm like, bro, that's not the same thing. You can't be, you got to be sober. Huh?
I said, Clay, don't do that.
Clay, don't do that. Don't be messing with my man. You got to be in your right mind, maybe even in the morning. Just think, all right, what am I, like, how old are you right now? Go out 7, 8 years or 5 years and just put that person there and say, here's me right there. And then just transpose your thought process and then see what you say back to yourself. It's a habit that I've got into, and it saved me a lot of pain and agony that this person, the one that's 8 years older, would have to go through. This one saved this one from going through that junk by saying, hey, you gotta hang up. Hey, you gotta quit looking at that. Hey, you gotta work over here. You're chasing the wrong rabbit down the wrong rabbit hole. That thing, that ship done sailed. Like this person over here is talking back at me, telling me that ship done sailed. So you got to start thinking. So this is what I'm trying to tell Henry and Anthony and Peter. There's another guy named Tad, old country boy like me. He spent a little time talking to me, and he said, I'm willing to work. And I was like, all right, if you're willing to work, the only thing left is what do you work on, who do you work with? What do you work on, who do you work with? So Tad, the whole deal is, how do you evaluate what you work on? So I've got this list of people that are going to Alaska. This is kind of interesting. If I can get my hands on it. Point winners. I thought I had it. So, come here and look and see if there isn't one for points, Robbie. It's points trip credit. That's what it is. This is month to date, year trip credit. I got trip credit here, but then I've got issue paid year to date here. Yeah, there it is, trip credit. All right, here we go. Thanks, you're a big help. Trip credit. This year, Brant Swindell has 169,000 points toward trip credit. The required point system is 115,000. What are we in, May?
Yes.
All right. Sarge has 164,000. Mark Hutchinson has 149,000. Minerve Profil has 147,000. Michelle Allen, 132,000. Jonathan Yakey, 128,000. Marcus Richardson, 108,000. James Hill and Jane, 107. Will DeSanto, 107. Kimberly Spinelli Young, 106. James Coleman, 105. And then Billy Crane is like 99,999. So that's the top 12 people as far as point credits go to Alaska. You can argue that they're lucky, and I would semi go along with you, but I would say it probably has something to do with how many appointments they booked, how many phone calls they made, how many appointments they went on, and skill set. That's the combination. It's work and skill set. So the work involved that I would scream at my guys, I would say, guys, look, I need for you to focus on the activity that gets the most results, and then work on the activity like your life depends on it. Like, for example, if you want to start winning the Alaska Cruise, I know that 20 appointments a week will get you there. So you got to start working on, like stop everything, like no drinking, no talking, no thinking, no television, no social media until I book 20 appointments. So what happens is after this meeting, you start booking appointments. And then if you there's this thing we have that keeps people from being mad at us. I don't want people to be mad at me. I don't want mom. And it's all about worried about what everybody else thinks. And so what happens is you give up and then you start making them happy, but you don't book your appointments. So in the beginning, you could just be mean and say, shut up, I'm booking my appointments. Or you could learn the skill set of saying, give me a couple hours, I'll take a break, I'll look at what you want me to look at, but right now I got to do this. So it's the stiff arm. It's the make them wait a little bit. But the whole thing is you got to work on that big rock. What's the big rock that you need to be working on first? Okay, now, let's say you make phone calls for 14 hours and you only book 4 appointments. First of all, if I'm coaching you, I'm going to be like, woo-hoo! When's the last time you booked 4 appointments in a day and a half? And they're like, never. But I called for 16 hours. I only booked 4. And I go, this is where we're talking about the skill set. You've put the big rocks in the jar. You've put the important stuff first. Thank God you put the important stuff first. Now what we got to do is skill set. And then it's just evaluating each sliver of skill set that people do. And for me, it's having the skill to teach them a skill. It's called the questioning game, but I give them logic as to why the questioning game works. Yesterday, Chelsea and her team and Chris Hill set up people that they wanted me to talk to, and I got a a people description, how old they were, where they went to school, what were their accomplishments in life. And this one lady, she had a 9 and 11-year-old girl, and she's taking care of them. And I asked them, I said, do you think these girls cause some of the problems in their life? Do you think these girls, and she said, no doubt about it, the way they act with people, the way they treat people, the way they think of themselves. I said, you are affecting what clients say on the phone. And she's like, oh my God, is that possible that I'm causing that? It was 100%. It comes back to that take responsibility. I said, right now, you got to just live with it, that you're causing objections. But we got to walk you through this thing to where you quit causing objections. So I taught her the stay calm strategy. I taught her the questioning, but don't really listen completely. You hear what they say, but you don't react like, ah! Like if somebody come in here and they said, man, you know, the Russians are coming, or the Chinese landed, or Red Dawn, they're landing out there with parachutes, and they're going to shoot us, and you're like, you got a couple choices. You could panic, or you could look around and check people and say, hey, look, is this confirmed? Is this confirmed? And finally said, I don't know. I heard they was just doing some tests. So if you go into an all-out panic, as opposed to saying, how's this going to work out? In other words, you had a terrible day. You made 16 hours phone calls. You booked appointments. Tomorrow's coming. Remember, get back on a horse, ask for a redo, ask for a do-over. All those things is the way I feel all of my life. I always feel like I want a do-over. And so that's what I try to do. They go, all right, tomorrow I'm gonna make phone calls again, but I'm gonna be a better person. So then I pick up this book, or I pick up the House of Values book, and I try to look through it, and I start reading the book and start thinking, how am I not doing good booking appointments, for example? Or for me, one of the things I think what's one of my limiting factors is working with the wrong people. I need to do a better job of working with the right people. And then the other skill set is getting these right people to copy. Because they want to work so much time with the wrong person. And I'm like, I can't get duplication. If you're the right person, you got to work with the right person. So if I'm working with you and you're working with the wrong people, then I'm hitting a dead end. It's like I'm pouring into a sponge because they're not working with the right people. And then like for Henry Boylan, I'm like, Henry, you got to put in the big rocks first. Well, if Henry's worried about the little rocks all the time and worried about the sand and the water, I'm like, Henry, you got to book the big appointments. So you start thinking about slicing this thing real thin to what is the right thing what is the right thing we need to be working on, and schedule time for that, and then schedule time to get the skill set. So it's the work and it's the skill set that we really got to get good on. I want my biggest, with these 4 guys that I'm working with, there's 4 things that I know they really need to kind of freak out and get better at. They need to get a check quicker, smoother. They need to get referrals. They need to find out where the money is. And then they need to recruit while they're in the house. That's the 4 things. So we got these 4 basics of in your house. We do have the basics of making a list, the basics of buying leads, Clay, and then the basics of calling these leads and booking the appointments, and then will the people show up? Once you get through all that, which is a boatload, and by the way, a lot of people, they'll spend time talking to a new person about this, when the in-house, when they ain't fixed them in the booking appointments and getting people to show up. And then a lot of people spend a lot of time with the booking appointments, getting them show up, when they ain't dealt with the head game. First, it's the head game. First, when I get their head game, then we move on to the booking the appointments. Then we move on to what do we do in the house. Okay? Now watch this, Pam. The problem is My head game ain't fixed, and I ain't that great booking appointments, and I ain't that great in the house. So how do I say I'm doing good enough booking appointments, so then I move on to, I'm doing good enough with the head game. Like they ain't locked me up yet. I'm not in a padded room. I hadn't shot myself. I ain't running naked and got it on video running around like a crazy man yet. So I've got that good enough, right? I got that good enough. So now I move on to booking appointments. Now I'm trying to get that good enough. Now in the house, I'm trying to get that good enough. So when I'm judging a person or when I'm working with a person, that's my mindset, is which element do I need to work on the most? Or which element sucks the most? Or what's the crimp in the hourglass? And so I'm constantly trying to evaluate my personal crimp in the hourglass, and then the people that I'm working with, I'm like, here's what I think. And I'm not perfect at it, but I've been doing it for 27 years. So I look down and I say, all right, here's what I think. I need to work on this right here. I need to work on this right here. And then it's like giving them a shower, going like, let's just think through this. Where's the problem? Let's help evaluate. Help them get their head set. And here's what everybody wants, Chelsea. Chris Hill's told me this many times. I wish I could find people that would just do what they're supposed to do without us having to tell them what to do, and they did it right, and they did it on time, and they did it. I said, man, if we could pick people like that, we wouldn't have to be here. We'd just be billionaires. But since we now admit that we have to be worked on, then we got to admit other people got to be worked on. And if you will work on you when I'm not there by reading these books. We talked to a person, listen to this one. I was talking to a person yesterday, super nice, great person. Booking appointments, not so good. In-house, not so good. Got a check, not understanding pen, like so many things not so good. But don't get me wrong, I'm thrilled with the person. Not read one of the books I suggested, none of them. And I'm not mad, but I'm like, oh man, we should have covered the head part. You know, the head, you got to get smarter and get better at this. And this is a learning process. If they'd have started and they read maybe 2 or 3 chapters and then were bad at this and bad at this and bad at this, I'd feel better. But when this was a 0, when they haven't started reading any of the books or listened to any of the audios, I'm like, Now the good news is they come to the hot spots. So they're coming to meetings. But it's like, Lord have mercy. That would be like asking people to book appointments and you find out they're cussing at people they don't know, and you find out 3 months down the road, I said, whoa, cussing while they do appointments? Whoa. You see what I'm saying? In other words, how bad is this element, the head game? How bad is the booking appointments? How bad is it in the house? But if you're evaluating yourself personally, it's where are you surviving and where do you need immediate help? In other words, is it your work strategy, which is probably a head game, or is it your skills? And if it's your skills, then we got to go to the audio and the books, and we got to talk to other people, and we got to evaluate. So this is a little text that I sent out to everybody, not everybody, but to some of my closest friends. And then I actually did post this on Band. This is a Band post I put up. I'll make it important so you can take a look at it, and I'll probably take it down. But my deal is to get better at the basics. And number one, concern. Think about this. If I'm dealing with you, you're dealing with me, you're dealing with your parents, you're dealing with your spouse, it's the interaction part. It's the communication part. People get all out of whack, mad or way crazy on both sides, as opposed to keeping a level communication and trying to nonstop get better. Communication, work on communication skills, and be patient with each other, but yet try to get better. It's iron sharpens iron, so find somebody that's killing it and say, look, do you think it's my work ethic? Or, which is a head game, or do you think it's like a scheduling game? If you schedule the stuff and then you stick to it, it's just integrity, head game, putting off people that don't matter, people that are smaller in your life, they don't affect you, putting that, that's a head game, the work ethic. And then if you got when you start to get the work ethic, we got to work on the skill and get better. Whether it's recruiting, whether it's getting people's mind right. That's a skill. It's getting people's mind right. So we're gonna hit the basics. As for me and my house, and Ed Soto and Evan Patzer and Brandon Beal and Billy and Ada Crane and people like that, and Stephen Davies, Stephen and Holly, we are going to work on our communications with ourselves and with our people, and we're going to get better, and we're going to take this thing to $1 billion, and we got to create another 100 people making $1 million a month. Not just $1 million a year, but $1 million a month. All right, hope this helps. We apologize to the people in ARC that didn't get paid when the ARC says you're going to get paid, and that'll be fixed Monday, and we're working hard on the CRM. Major progress. It helped expected tomorrow because we're going to do a redo. We're going to get back on the horse. Love y'all. Hope this helps a little bit. Hey, leave it running. Y'all got any questions in here? $1 million a month. Like, yes. This call is clear and concise. Thank you, Michelle. Bailey, Greg is number 20.